Man, every day I go to war with myself over the question of whether or not I really like people at all. And I hope that that's actually a struggle that everyone finds themselves confronted with at certain points in their lives. It would certainly make me feel a lot less lonely. And if I am a lot less lonely for the knowledge that other people also struggle with understanding how to unconditionally love and respect other people, certainly helps me understand a little better how to unconditionally love and respect other people who, as it turns out, are not so different from me. What is up, everybody? I hope you're having a wonderful time. My name is Ethan. I go by Lord Thethan, and I'm an Overwatch collegiate varsity coach of 6 years. Today, I am looking at a very, uncharacteristically short game. Don't worry, I'll still find a way to pad out the VOD. Earn that ad revenue. My channel's not monetized actually yet. If we were watching this video like years after I've become, a multi-million subscriber channel, because that's where all the viewers are, is Overwatch VOD reviewing. Then I guess you're getting me the AdSense. But at least for today, we've got some pretty interesting questions, and hopefully what's going to be an interesting VOD review. I'm a little bit nervous because I think that this one might also be a little bit of a steamroll. They mention in their notes, we're going to be taking a look at Kaylon here. They say, let's see, here we go. In the VOD, the tank is one of my trioed teammates, and so is one of the supports. I think his in-game name is Akamonogatari, or something along those lines. Don't ask how I pronounce that, vaguely correctly on the first try. I've been trying to get to Masters with my stack for a month now, but we've made no progress past Diamond. I got to Diamond 1 on support, but we couldn't go any higher. I want to try and get better at DPS, because a lot of our games on 1 tank, 2 support, we were getting hard DPS stiffed. Oh, I would love to see those games, by the way. It's very challenging it's very difficult to, at the end of the day, be able to say in truly good faith and confidence that it was a role disparity that loses us these games. However, going on. I also want to learn how to improve my positioning on DPS. I do try to take off angles and such a lot of the time, but I struggle to survive on off angles because my supports are with the main group. That is maddening to me, actually. I'm absolutely willing to resonate with that. It is absolutely infuriating that both of my support players in Platinum and Diamond lobbies think that their position is right behind my full HP tank that both of them are stealing ultimate charge from, while I remain critical in a 2v1 against a Cassidy who actually does have his Kiriko on him, right? So absolutely, one of our core takeaways from this VOD gets to be, hey, supports, if there's a concept called support efficiency, it's something I made up in some schizophrenic episode, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense for both of my supports to be doing the same thing when my supports have different ways to do different things at the same time that help achieve the same goal, right? I say different means to the same ends. So I never, in like the last several years, actually, a consecutive of coaching my collegiate varsity roster, I have never let my supports both be looking at the same target at the same time, unless that target is the only one left to look at. So yeah, absolutely, I totally get that. They ask, or they mention, in regards to having a question specifically, they say, not specifically, but what would be a good team, wait, this is specific. But what would be a good team comp for our trio to play? We've tried to support 1 tank, 1 on each role, and 1 tank, 2 DPS. Not only that, but what would be some good combinations of heroes if we want to get to Masters together? Okay. Holy loaded. We haven't even hit the play button yet. And what are we at? 5 minutes? Okay. I'm gonna do the cop-out answer. Play whatever you want. Like all the way up to low GM, you can literally play whatever you want and get away with it. 100%. I would say also, when it comes to playing different characters, it's literally going to depend. Again, if you guys are watching this years in the future after I become a multi-million subscriber channel, with a ton of YouTube or style, what is it? Oh my goodness, I'm losing my words. Anyways, if you're watching this years from now and Emre is absolute trash because they've reverted his buffs that he never needed, right, then I can't tell you right now to play Emre, right? That doesn't make a lot of sense. I will tell you, when we're playing Overwatch, we're abiding by 3 core rule sets. I've said this in all my videos. You're playing by the character rule set, the compositional rule set, and the matchup rule set, right? So that is who am I playing with, and who am I playing against. And if you're thinking about who you're playing with, then you're generally wanting to run characters that play with each other well, right? Sigma with snipers, Winston with flex DPS or a Cassidy. You're playing Brawl and Rush characters as Reinhardt, a Reaper behind him, a Bastion to shred through shields. You're playing to play into better matchups. I'm playing Bastion because my Reinhardt doesn't want to play into Domina and let her have all of her options, right? So I'm going to shred her barrier and make sure that he's got ample pressure. My Roadhog is, or the enemy team Roadhog is hooking and cooking my Winston. So, you know, it makes sense for me to play Ana, right? Even if she's not great on this map or isn't great on this meta, right? Because Ana's not going to be good in every meta, right? Gosh, play Zen. For some odd reason, that character has, like, stayed, like, kind of a sleeper pick kind of level good. He's no Kiriko, but holy smokes, if you want to just climb and diamond, pick up the Zen. Pick up the Zen, pick up the Maga, pick up the Emre. Play those characters. Those are very good heroes. I love Maga. All right. Let's not waste any time. If there are opportunities to talk about the composition, then we can go, we can tackle it from there. But it, what is that line from, what is the, Monsters vs. Aliens? It's a DreamWorks film. But I've told you too much already. After saying, like, almost nothing at all, which is pretty much what my word slop amounted to. Almost nothing at all. I'm calling your bluff, by the way. I've been doing this a lot in my latest videos. I don't think you like off-angling. We are not starting on an off-angle. Starting behind our Reinhardt, tethered to both of our supports, holding a really narrow angle that doesn't even give us scouting info, right? So, knowledge is power. And we haven't once walked out of this choke point, which is really, really challenging, right? Doesn't the Mercy have options to get away from the Tracer if we're moving out, right? If we're not moving, then she only can back up there, right? So if we're thinking about the rules of our composition, right, then I need to get in there so that my Mercy has Guardian Angel tether so that she can easily escape from danger, or I need to secure eliminations on her threats at times where she's vulnerable, right? So either go in and take an off angle, swing wide, be aggressive, posturate the enemy, make them nervous, make them play defensively, right? Force the Tracer off of an angle before she even has the opportunity to get to a position where she can see your Mercy, right? You save your Mercy the disadvantage of being able to be walked on when you're playing in positions where they have to get through you to get to your Mercy, right? So spending too much time in the choke, and I've talked about this in my other videos, but spending too much time in the choke is going to be a huge no-no. Good stuff. This is good. So even if this is a steamroll, we've already gotten some really, really good feedback off of this, which is excellent. Although, guys, do try to avoid so many steamroll codes. It's not so much about, like, close wins, close losses. You know, I know Frito used to say if you're Overwatch, you know, guys, submit a game that, you know, of a replay code that you lost, but you thought you deserved to win. Like, I just need a good sample of your gameplay, right? I just need to be able to say, you know, I need to be able to, like, watch a game, and I'm not often going to be able to watch people's gameplay in 2 different matches, but I need to be able to see your gameplay and would, like, conceivably be able to see, like, a follow-up replay code or another game and be able to say, oh, yeah, that's Kaylon right there, right? And so that's all that matters when submitting replay codes. I just need a good sample. Ooh, too narrow, and we back off this angle, which is a little bit unfortunate. We can swing wide. We have a health pack to slide to. I understand that we struggle to stay alive a little bit because we're not on top of our supports. Oh, we hear the counter pin there, and we're not in a position to follow up. If we swing as wide as we can earlier, don't we have an angle on the Doomfist, right? So Overwatch 2 boils down to 2 principles: timing and map control. Isn't it interesting that we don't have the control over the map that would give us an elimination on the Doomfist at the time where he gets counterpicked, or counter punch, counter pin, counter bashed by our Doomfist, right? We're still holding this angle. So if Overwatch happens in 5 phases, which occur every about 8 to, oh man, I mean, just like Overwatch 2 boils down to 2 principles: timing and map control, right? Look at our map control. Look at how little of the map that we control, right? This entire time. We're here. So again, Overwatch happens in about 5 phases that happen in like 8 to 12 seconds or so. So like every 8 seconds, you have to be thinking about, like, where is my next good position? Where do I want to be 8 seconds from now? And we just aren't anywhere. See how we haven't actually moved anywhere, right? If I zoom out far enough, not only is my entire team, like, all on the exact same coordinates, but also I have literally not moved anywhere, right? how am I supposed to force them to play differently? How am I supposed to make them choose between two different options? How am I supposed to isolate one target when I'm playing in a position so long that not only does one support see me, the other support from a longer angle sees me, and because I'm there for so long, the support from the longer angle has all the time to link up with the other support who's a little bit closer, right? Wouldn't it have been easier to move all the way over here, get a pick on the Doom, over here, isolate the Zenyatta, force both of them to turn at you? Suddenly, no one else on their team is getting healing, and you've diverted a lot of pressure. You don't need picks on this angle, you just need pressure. Unpeak, go grab the Mega if you take a little bit of damage, force one of them to look at you, come play the corner, and just sit here and be quiet until one of them rounds the corner, or both of them, right? And again, if both of them are rounding the corner, that's no healing for the rest of their team. But the difficulty is that we're not doing these things early enough, right? Now, we don't want to play Overwatch games out of the pace of our team, right? We don't want to play so fast that our team isn't able to follow up or do anything. But it is also interesting how we could possibly spare our team a little bit of time, right? If we embark on these endeavors with the intention to not die. I have not told you to get picks. I have not mentioned to int and feed and go to some place that is unsafe. I haven't recommended moving to a place that doesn't have ample walls, corners, covers to hide around. Oh, we're in the same spot. Oh no. We should be at this point moving height, by the way. We should at this point be taking the stairs and starting from height. We've really struggled to get through this position, and if we're struggling to get through a spot of the map in Overwatch for like several consecutive fights, then that's going to make it really, really. It's just every consecutive fight that we continue taking the same spot is going to be difficult. Until we have ults to break through it, but like we have ults, sure, but they also have ults. Careful, jumping like messes up your aim where you could be taking that shot on the Tracer. At least in my opinion. But I also hate jumping. I hate jumping. I've said in other videos. I would ult here. Just to draw a little bit of aggro. Your Mercy's right there. We can see the tether. And honestly, it's always safer in than out, right? So we have to be sliding to this Mega, right? We have to open up the map, right? Because we can always continue going over here, right? And honestly, we'll probably die for it, but like, you know, do we force one of our teammates to ult? Do we give our Mercy the opportunity to like Valk, right? Maybe we slide in the open with the intention of dying so that my Mercy can have a reason to Valk and come revive, and then I've got nice, wide, sweeping angles to overclock, or I have every direction that I could go for cover, right? Again, none of this is necessarily supposed to help us win these fights. Oh, misclick, unlucky. But it is supposed to give us options. Right now, these fights aren't being lost for really any one reason, but we certainly don't have enough options to narrow down what those reasons for losing are. Right now we're losing because of like a dozen different things, right? If we are playing even a little bit differently, we could say, okay, we definitely lost because of this role differential, right? Which I had challenged at the start. But again, that's predicated on us playing a little bit differently, right? Playing our matchups, playing our rule sets, playing our angles, our map control, and our timing, going towards the Mega, and not being totally reliant on the space from my tank or the healing from my supports. There are positions on the map that I can apply pressure to create space or buy time, right? It's not about picks, it's about pressure. And there are spots on the map that also heal me, right? Where my supports may not be available. So even though it is absolutely maddening to have both of my supports tethered onto the tank, who is already at full HP and is inting anyways every time there's a fight that breaks out, there are ways that I can, you know, choose to play differently, and it is a conscious choice. So I would seek to really open our mind to a whole plethora of options that are revealed to us just by A, doing things a little bit earlier, B, spending less time in positions that are disadvantageous, and we'll have a good sense. It's worth booking a long review, guys, if we really want to get into the nitty-gritty details with all this stuff, but we do have to keep it moving along. Sorry, guys, I wish I was a time wizard. Oh man, I wish I was a time wizard so bad. Careful about jumping. Ooh, I hate the jumping. I do like that pick. Ooh, I really like that pick, but I hate the jumping. Good, yeah, good pressure. I like that. I don't really like walking at the Tracer here and ending up out in the open. I think Mei and her abilities are pretty powerful on the point, although the whole team is moving with us. So actually, I think that this is fine, right? We do want to stay in formation. We're not playing a character that needs to off-angle as much anymore, but Mei contributes a lot of point presence, and so I wouldn't mind seeing us kind of position to be able to capitalize a little bit on that. Unlucky that our Mercy gets picked there. I think that, There's really no way to scout that Sombra unless we're pressing tab and, like, seeing in advance that she's around and then maybe being motivated to go hunt around a little bit there. That's a nice crit tap on the Tracer. Force the recall. We haven't used any of our abilities yet, right? So we still have wall, right? And we're taking damage. We use cryo before we use wall, right? So after we use wall, what are they going to do? They're going to jump on us anyways, right? They have blinks, they have mobility, right? And we go for wall because we want to block the damage, but our opportunity to block damage was actually earlier, right? And even lets us play a position where we can, you know what we do here by walling one of our targets? We isolate the other one, right? And isn't part of the problem so far in this match that every time you're confronted with a duel, it is actually a 2v1 and not a 1v1, right? Just by using a wall at a specific time, right? To control the angles that you are vulnerable to. Timing and map control. Oh my god, we've heard it already. Enough, coach. But if we're using our wall to do that, then that's unlucky. Yeah, we're trying to get a little gimmick. I would slow down. After taking damage, use the wall. Use the cooldowns, right? Play the timeline, I think is the way I put it in an Echo video thumbnail. That one is very much worth watching, by the way. That will give you a lot of good pointers. Because right now, we're pretty much only left with timing and map control. And as far as timing goes, when we take damage, we want to be really sensitive to the next instance of damage we take, right? So after taking the Doom Punch, I probably just hit my Shift key, right? Because the biggest disadvantage isn't to be down my cooldowns. I still have options when I'm playing without my cooldowns in my spawn, maybe on a Mega Pack that I control or high ground that I can have access to, right? The big disadvantage is if I die, right? There's my uptime, there's my ultimate generation, there's my option creation, right? There's my pressure. Nice dodge on that pulse bomb. I actually really like that. Like this pressure, but we're spending too much time in positions where the character isn't good, right? I'm occupied with, like, helping our supports at a time where, like, again, your Kiri needs you in to TP to you, right? If your Kiri is staring at 5 targets to TP to that are all standing on top of us, right? Then she actually doesn't have a TP network, right? So she needs you in. That's so fortuitous. Oh my gosh, that you actually got that crit tap on the Tracer. And it's nice, but again, see how we have not moved. We haven't moved, and that's problematic. And I understand, again, we don't want to, like, be in a position where, like, we're not helpable, but I'm not asking us to move to positions where we're not helpable, right? I want us to play positions that have cover, corner, walls, that we can play our compositional rule sets, right? On my Mercy to Valk, my Kiri to TP, my Rhine or Doom to pin in, right? To an angle that allows me to apply pressure, right? If everyone is shooting at my Reinhardt, then he can't do anything, but if I'm on an angle so that I have 1 or 2 people shooting at me, like I mentioned with the 2 healers, right? Not healing their team if they're both looking at you, right? If I have 1 or 2 people looking at me, nice pick, then that's people who aren't shooting my Rhine. But here's the thing. A lot of these picks that have been like, oh, that's a nice pick. Oh, I like that right clicky, right? A lot of these have happened, like, incidentally, right? It's almost been as if we are just, they're just walking into our shots. It's more fateful than it is willful, right? And so what I have us doing is consciously willing ourselves to play positions that our characters are good with in formations that help enable our other characters, right? Or the other characters on our composition. You can't really carry an Overwatch, but again, playing to create options at every opportunity. It's really every 8 seconds, right? Every fight phase, if you have more options, right? Then that's usually more advantages that you can possibly roll, right? More dice that you can spin in the hopes of getting something on the higher side of a 10, right? I could go on. So ultimately, there's a lot going on here, but there's also not a lot going on here. And I would say, unfortunately, and this is unfortunate, unfortunately, this doesn't end up being the best VOD to examine to answer some of these questions, right? So as far as not being able to get higher on DPS, we actually do have our core principles, right, at play there, right, to understand, right? And really, it's down to a lot of things. And I strongly recommend that if some of this was not super clear, right, if it felt a little ambiguous, right, and you're like, well, okay, timing and map control, but I don't know what that means, right? Then my recommendation is go check out some of my other videos, because I messed up my spreadsheet here. Go check out my other videos, because I do outline a couple of explicit details, like, every once in a while. But really here, we're just here to get the big core fundamentals, the big principles, and keep things short enough that I'm actually able to record all the VODs that I've gotten. And I've gotten a lot. Holy smokes, guys. And I'm so incredibly thankful to that. I'm especially thankful to... Oh my goodness. I'm losing my mind, guys, to Kaylon. For providing their gameplay to be showcased, marked for improvement, and shared with many others who may benefit from some of these same insights, right? Guys, if you would like to have your VODs reviewed for free on the channel, use the Google form below to submit in the description to submit your replay codes. It is absolutely impossible for me to measure my gratitude for those who donate to support the channel, and they are literally buying time for me to commit to creating these videos, answering questions, and engaging in our shared passion. But guys, these are difficult and expensive times, so no one should ever be compelled to be charitable to my YouTube channel, right? Hopefully, eventually, you know, there's other means, right? Twitch and subscriptions and memberships or Patreon or whatever. And monetization is never really a fun conversation. But for affordable professional standard coaching, feel free to DM Lord Ethan on Discord for full block one-on-one VOD reviews and discussions. I do teams, solos, groups. I do it all, and across all of the ranks as well, from bronze to champion. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, thanks for sticking around. If you're regular, I'm so incredibly grateful to you guys. Especially if you submit replay codes. If you are a hater, then leave a comment. And if you're just along for the ride like myself, then stick around, guys. It's gonna be, it's gonna be a weird road that we walk. Guys, as always, leave a like, a comment, subscribe to the channel, and enable notifications so that you guys can see the instant the videos premiere. Thank you all for watching. Remember to be good to each other, be fair to yourselves, and I'll see you guys on the next one.